Hello there, my name is Dr. Joe, and today what I want to talk about is fitness training for the youth athlete, as well as long-term athletic development, which should kind of go hand in hand. This is going to be especially targeted at the parents out there who have children working with me. Now, before I get into any of that, just a quick rundown of my qualifications. So I have an undergraduate degree in exercise and movement science. I have a doctorate degree in physical therapy. I've taken numerous child development classes throughout my education. I currently teach classes in motor learning and movement control, which is a class all about skill acquisition and developing and learning different motor patterns. I also teach exercise physiology and biomechanics based on the semester. I've got several years of experience working at Cincinnati Children's as a research assistant. I've done some direct patient care stuff. I've done some motion analysis lab work. So I do have this background working with kids and looking at their movement. So I think the easiest way to understand what I'm going to do in these classes is to talk about what you will see and what you won't see. So now one of the things one of the things you will see that you may not expect or may not look at the same as I do is these different movements like duck walks and crab walks and a lot of these positions often associated with gym class. And to give you an example, if we look at the positions in a duck walk, what I'm seeing is the fact that you require maximum ankle mobility. You require a deep knee flexed position. You need hip flexibility. You need kind of controlled weight shift. These are all markers of athleticism. And again, in a world where I run into a lot of adults who can't do a squat while staying balanced without tipping over, without their heels coming off the ground, these fundamental movements and positions are important for kids to develop. Now, something you won't see on the other side, or you won't see more than sparingly, is a lot of these traditional movements like a dumbbell row or a bench press or a shoulder press. Will we use them occasionally? Yes, absolutely. We will use them as a way to teach movement as something we will do in the future so that when these exercises become appropriate, the child's ready to do them and do them effectively and safely. Some other things you'll see are dynamic movements like skipping or different hopping movements, which again, when I look at them, what I see is multi-limb coordination, the ability to connect movement of an opposite leg and an opposite arm, right? Watch a video of someone running. What you see is as their left knee drives up, their right arm drives with it. And then you have this alternating pattern on the other side, this kind of carryover, crossover athleticism that we're going to learn better at younger ages, just like kids will learn language better at younger ages. It still applies to physical movements too. Another thing that you won't see in here is a bunch of static positions. We're not going to do a lot of planks. We're not going to do these static stationary positions because frankly, that's not what sports are about and it's not what develops maximum athleticism. If you're a golfer, what you need to be able to do is swing the club with balance, with speed. A plank is not simply going to create the amount of carryover to swinging a golf club that something like a throwing or kicking motion will carry over to golf or tennis or basketball or baseball or any other sport. Another thing you're going to see is different tossing, throwing, balancing activities. So again, where you may see an underhand throw at a target, what I see is depth perception. Can they drop that target 15 feet away, 20 feet away, 5 feet away? Do they have the depth to process where that target is? And then the ability to coordinate motions and muscle contractions to deliver something to that target. That's something I don't think I should have to explain how that correlates to a sport like golf or tennis where we're trying to manipulate an object to hit another object a certain distance or a certain speed or a certain location. Another thing you won't tend to see in youth training is real heavy loads. We might have someone flip a foam box over, for example, because they've got to coordinate their lower body and upper body position and kind of flip an awkward box or something into a position. Because again, that requires a certain amount of coordination. But we're not going to do it where you grab a heavy dumbbell and perform a row or a press motion because one, there's a safety concern there, but with good form, you get rid of that. But the biggest reason is because those movements are designed to build muscle size and strength. And no kid will build muscle size and strength because they don't have the hormone profile pre-puberty to do that. So it's another thing that I think I see sometimes misunderstood. When you hit puberty, testosterone levels increase, growth hormone increases, insulin-like growth factor is going to be more in play. Those things allow you to actually build literally bigger muscle fibers, which is where some of that strength comes from. Well, that doesn't happen in a youth athlete because they haven't gotten to puberty and got those hormones. So training for something that isn't going to happen anyway, to me, is kind of silly. So again, the, the class I run and the way youth training should be done, in my opinion, and really honestly, and what scientific research says, is just focus on athleticism, movement, coordination, flexibility, and control from loaded positions like a duck walk, like a crab walk where you have to put your shoulder in an extreme position and support your body weight. Not through what, again, a lot of kids are going to call a boring, typical stretch or something along those lines, because when it comes to youth training, we also have to keep it fun. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an understanding of what I like to do. If you happen to have a child in a class with me and you see a movement or an activity and you're like, why would you do that? Just ask. Because if I can't provide that answer for you, then you probably shouldn't sign your child up for training with me. I'm going to have a reason why everything is done, and I'm going to be happy to provide that reason for you. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.